Hello and welcome back to the live sessions with myself, Bonolo Mabocha. And I thought we should use, the remaining 3 minutes or two to just, set the introduction. Also, just lay a foundation of what the conversation that we are about to have tonight is all about. To prove my point that we are talking all things business, I had to put on a formal, formal regalia so that, we might as well make sense when we talk about the sense. My name is Vonolo Mabocha, and we are hosting yet another one of the live sessions. And for today, we are moving up just a notch, On the one end, I would like us to rally behind voting for Reabetswe Molapo because she is nominated in the category of the emerging entrepreneur. And if you look through her profile and look at some of the accomplishments that she has, garnered for herself over the years, you'll understand that she really deserves to actually take home the award. Not that I'm saying other people in the category are not deserving, but if we as a community that knows and have been impacted by her before could also just come together and say we believe in you by, converting those into votes, I think we would be doing a great job. But other than that, the main topic for today is regarding our small businesses. We always talk about how, it's best you start a business, it's best you have a side hustle, even there's even a new study that shows that a lot of middle income class families are now resorting to having small businesses, right? Or not even small business, but side hustles. And side hustles, technically it's a small business. So usually we park the duty to formalize these businesses, and then we end up in trouble with SARS, we end up in trouble with whoever, simply because there is a particular step in the process of finding our business that we skipped or we overlooked, and perhaps sometimes we even find ourselves saying, but I can't pay someone to do this for me. Well, after the conversation that I'm about to have with Reabetswe, I am hoping that what you take away from it is the fact that, actually there is a need for us to formalize our enterprises, for them to grow to the level that we want them to be at. And I see that my guest is about to join us. One thing that excites me is that, Ria is the same both on and off social media, and that excites me so much. And this is why I'm just, one of the reasons why I'm rallying behind is because of her authenticity, if that's a word. Reabetswe, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. I am here.
Can
you
hear me? I can hear you, but I can't.
All right, let me just.
What's going on? Alrighty. So she'll just fix that so that we can have a productive one. I'm already dying to have a conversation with Ria. One of my fondest memories of Ria was when she was prefect in the year that I was like in grade 8, and she was part of the gangster prefects. Not gangster in behavior, but like those prefects that when you saw them, you were just like, and you never really left. You never left. You kept it at that. Like you were Reabetswe Molapo, and you never like went. You've always just kept it there. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself, Bonolo, as well as your listeners and your watchers. How are you guys doing?
And I'm fine, man. Except what? The heat.
What's holding you by the washing?
Yo. I was even concerned because the whole time I've been sweating and I'm like, is it not going to show on the screen? Because, wow,
Oh,
I'm sweating like a pig.
yeah, the heat has been
How
quite harsh on a lot of us, right?
Let me first of all thank you for, the time you took out. I understand that your time is very valuable, ma'am. And so for you to take out your time to just borrow it to us, to come and talk about this particular topic that we sort of overlook, I see that as one of the reasons why I vouch behind you, getting these recognition awards, one of them being, of course, the upcoming emerging entrepreneur nomination, which we hope it converts into an award.
Finger.
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Last week ke tshwentse ke load shedding, this week re tshwenya ke network. So please be very patient with us.
Hi, Bonolo.
Just for our listeners to be very, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sure. So, you know what? Let's jump straight into the questions before barpoka ka di load shedding le ka di network.
Okay. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be led by you.
Yeah.
You will lead leadership.
Okay. You know what? I think let's start with the main question, and then in closing, we can ask about who you are and what you do, as well as what your business stands for. Is that fine?
Perfect.
Okay. So my question was, when do small businesses need to formalize, their business? When does, I don't know, like as a side hustle, when do I decide that, I need to register it or make it formal? So I don't know. And also why?
Look, I think everything has to do with your why. When I hold your side hustle, why were you starting it? Were you starting it just to answer with your main salary? Like everything has got to do with your why and what's your strategy behind it. So I know some people start side hustles because, oh, I just like baking, or oh, I just like to do people's makeup or whatever. It's an additional thing that they do maybe it's fun for them to do, and then they just realize, I can make money out of this. So guys, on weekends, call me, whatever the case is, right? So the moment maybe you feel like, and I wouldn't say you want to shift out of maybe your full-time career or your full-time job rather, but the moment you feel that you might need to now get access to things like funding or financing, or that's when you kind of, the real need of formalization comes in. However, I remember I was sitting in some meeting, and they were talking about Africa as a continent, and they were talking about like women entrepreneurs. And I think maybe I've had this conversation with you before, but how there's a lack of formalized businesses on the African continent, more especially within women, and they're trying to get more women to formalize. But now formalization has its own cons, right? As much as it's got its pros, it's got its own cons. I mean, the cost of compliance is the thing that causes a lot of people to decide not to formalize. The registration goes to IPC. The fact that every single year you have to make sure that your stuff is up to date. Registration on SARS, bank, opening a bank account, the cost of those things. So sometimes for certain people, those pile up, and it's like, the cost versus benefit of actually having a formalized business versus it just running from my own back, like, cash wise or whatever is better for them. But the moment you feel that your business is now starting to, more especially if it was a side hustle before, and you feel like you now want to get access to funding, you now want to get maybe loans, maybe there's a particular equipment that you need. If maybe you used to help people with their kokadi, weekends, and now you want to buy a popcorn machine, but your salary isn't enough, and you now maybe want to get a loan. Things like that might be a reason for then wanting to formalize your business. It's sort of like when you have that element of expansion in mind, then that would be one of the key, or the main reasons why you'd want to decide to do that.
Oh, okay, I see. So, is it possible? Okay, so from what you're saying, then it means it's possible for me to actually run a side hustle for years without having to register it.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean, if we can say, isn't that what a sole proprietor is? Kind of, sort of, right? It's running the business from, let's say, your own personal bank account, and that's, if you then look at how the different types of businesses they are, the formalizing, like when it comes to, if you call it registrations, but the different types of businesses, sole proprietor, Barking, PTY Ltd,
Sure.
there used to be those close corporations. So if you look at those different things, both partnerships, so those types of things where it could be like, it's basically like a sole proprietor, if you're going to call it a side hustle and it's informalized as such, and you're just going to call it Bunolo's what, but it's not there by CIPC. So that's what it basically is.
I see. And so, do you perhaps know what are the, or no, should this one go into consultation sessions?
Hey, I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah. We don't want to give out a lot of information because now bringing me to my next question, then what is your business? What kind of a business are you running? And
me personally,
where did you start?
All right. So with Reabetswe as a person, Reabetswe Pty Ltd, I am running what we call a non-profit company. So basically what that allows you to do is you do good social, look, I'm a social entrepreneur basically. I believe in doing things for good, but obviously I would like to mix purpose and profit. So what that allows me to do is to provide, let's say, what I say, my consultancy services, which is one of the services that I do, and I am able to do that at a fee or at a price. However, what my then business does not allow me to do is I cannot, having a nonprofit company is like nonprofit, not organization, but it's a way for you to not rely on funding, because what nonprofit organizations do is a lot of the times is rely on, hey, I'm applying for funding, or hey, I need a donor, hey, I need a sponsor, right? So our business, I'll tell you the truth, we've never had a sponsor or a donor. So everything has had to run from either A, my pockets, or B, I've had to monetize it, and I have had to find ways of making it sustainable, which has been a journey on its own, because I think I always speak about the importance of starting something, whether you know what it is, because when I started, I didn't even know what I was doing. And then over time, as you learn, as you progress, as you meet up with people, you realize, oh, actually, this is how I can do it. This is how I can, the best way of doing it, or a better way of doing it. We're still nowhere near, where we should be, or where we could, like, we're still like at the beginning stages, in my view. There's certain spaces that I'd like to see us, tramping on, and then in that space. But as a speaker, then that's a PTY Ltd.
Oh, okay. So you also do speaking on the side?
Yes, you can't say side. It's mains. Don't get these mains, babe. But yes, as a professional speaker, so there's it's a proper invoicing system. Even with the non-profits, we invoice properly, like it's an actual well-oiled or well-run business. I really Aram's capital type vibes. No.
How do you make money with speaking? I guess I'm not the only one that's asking themselves this question now. How do you make money by just, speaking?
You must invite a proper speaker here. I'm joking. I think for that one, you must call somebody who's been in the game for like 20 years. But I think within the speaking industry is you need to figure out who's your target market, and what's your message. I think this is something that I was told also by a coach, and things like that. It's important to have coaches or people who have been there before you, who'll be able to guide you in that space to make you understand that particular business and how that runs, so that you can understand your clients and how to talk to them so that they can book you for those gigs. So let me just maybe to answer your question is, what do you do? How do you do it?
Sure.
You maybe have, let's say you started, like I started out doing it for free, right? And in doing it for free, you mold yourself, you mold your message, you mold your conversations, you mold content also. You're building content for yourself on what actually am I saying? You know,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
teacher about 7, like stealing other people's words and then you're not referencing those types of things. So what I realized actually over time is speaking is mostly like, guys, researching and just speaking what's being researched. And I find a lot of the times people just speak because they think they're orative or they are well articulated. Being well articulated and being well articulated or having a rolling English versus actually speaking real content, two different things. So a lot of the times people make that mistake to say, you know, I know how to talk, and then they go on as a speaker, and then therefore, it's not therefore.
Have you ever tried like comedy, bruh? Like just corporate comedy?
No, I'm not gonna go there. Yo, that space is brutal. No. I'm fine where I am, sweetheart. The reason why, you know, I'm fine where I am and how I am. This is how my personality is, and yeah. I guess, you
And
know,
you're not
if you book me as a speaker, you get that as a bonus. You have to book a speaker and a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us now, we're having a good time.
Right.
What was I going to ask you? Oh no, are you a motivational speaker? Is that what you are? Or you speak, I don't know, purposefully,
Like content,
whatever?
look, so here's how I found out, ne, that when it comes to the clientele that I prefer to have, they call it motivational speaking.
Yes.
So when I approach them, I tell them that, you know, I'm a motivational speaker. Or if you Google me, there's these 2 specific sites where it says that Reabetswe is a conference speaker and she's a motivational. That's how they brand it, right? But personally for me, I honestly don't like that word. Maybe it's triggering. I don't know. Because of how, you know, some of these people that we see that call themselves these things. But personally, I think I just prefer the word speaker because I'm able to be a panelist. I'm able to be an MC. I'm able to be a moderator. I'm able to be a facilitator. So as an all-rounder, I'm able to do that. But obviously, I think maybe because of my personality and because of I understand that people are discouraged, then the motivational element will definitely pull through while I talk. But as I said, it goes with who you're talking to. So if there's a specific client and they're looking for a motivational speaker, that's how in that industry they brand it. But yeah, that's how I just say Reabetswe a speaker. Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if we still have time, but I wanted to ask you, when did you fall in love with speaking? Is it a muscle that you had to train, or is it something that you just, you know, growing up, you stood in front of a mirror, rehearsed lines, repeated lines, and then you realize, nah, this is it. This is the discovery.
I think it's something that's always been with me. So here's what happened, or you know, when I go through. I don't know if you've seen, you know, the video of Steve Jobs when he was talking at Stanford. This is a 2005 video, I think. So he speaks about the importance of joining the dots, of being reflective, like thinking back. So what you're making me do now is being reflective. And if I join the dots of back, you know, how did I get to the whole speaking point? I think when I was a child, I looked at my reports preschool crash. And both Auntie Mang Mang, Auntie Len, and Auntie Shannon, or whoever the teachers were, they would always write, Reabetswe is very talkative. Reabetswe is very, every term, every single report, Reabetswe is talkative. So I think one of the teachers in primary school then decided we're going to use this talkativeness, you know, and she then suggested, I think this was maybe in grade 1 or 2, where they had like poetry recital thingies, you know, those things, man, go primary school. So then she signed me up to do that. And I think when I came back with an A plus or something. And that was when it triggers to, you know, she's actually good at this thing. And so they would then make sure that when it comes to speaking things or speaking competitions, that it was kind of involved. So obviously by virtue of that, you always go home, practice in front of a mirror. And that's literally been with me ever since my entire high school. Every single high school that I've been to. I've only been to 2 high schools, but you know, from when I was schooling in the East Rand in Springs right until Polokwane, that's literally it. And I think maybe from your experience, knowing me from high school, you would know that there's no speaking competition that Rebecca was not involved in, honey. None. So that's a muscle that has been brewing for the past, how old? Like 20 years. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, how a professional speaker for 30 years. You know, but
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it's literally just been you know, that muscle being brought up, being groomed, sorry, in that manner.
I want to take you back to, I think it was 2011 or 2012 when you came to Netherlands. So this is our former high school, right?
Okay.
You came in there and, are we still on time, Riyamar? You came there and you were going to speak about, oh yes, we're still on time. You were talking about your experience in varsity when you decided that you were going to follow your passion, and you know, you were speaking about your journey up to 2012, if I remember correctly. And at the time, I was one of the students that was sitting in the room that had been asking themselves, what am I going to do with my life afterwards? So after this, what am I going to do? And I got to university, and I remember that one of the things that you kept hammering on was, you know, take action, you know, continuously so. And so I remember when I got to university, I kept looking at strange doors, walking into different doors, and now that I'm looking back, I see, you know, all of these experiences where, you know, I've even been on radio, because you spoke about radio at some point, being an on-campus radio.
You lie. Was that why?
Yes. So, and yes. And another thing is, I also joined a school choir, was on the ensemble, some cultural ensemble. I was dancing at some point, right? And so I keep asking myself this question about you, that did you have somebody who was like you to me? Like somebody who once, or who spoke once, and they, you know, somehow you felt, you know what, unapologetic, I'm going for whatever it is, and I'm just, you know, whenever I'm gonna trust my instinct, basically. Do you have that particular person?
No, when I was your guys' age, I didn't. And I think that's exactly why I started what I did. I did what I did because I didn't have that.
Sure.
You know, so if you remember, I don't remember if you remember what I spoke about. You know, but I remember some of the things that because I think another person that came to me afterwards was State. So he reminded me of the same, you guys must start from a conglomerate. But State once came back to me and called me up and like, Ria, I need a coffee with you. You remember what you said in you know, at school? And I was like, hey, bro, I don't remember, you know. But some of the things that you said, you know, he said the same thing, that they stuck with him. They helped him make the decisions that he's made over the past couple of years. But just to get out of that was, I literally did that because I didn't have that. When I came through and I spoke to you, you guys were my first like speaking engagement in the province. Then that allowed me to go to other schools across the province. When I did that, it was because when I was in varsity, I realized that I didn't have like what I would then call a mentor perhaps, or just somebody that would guide me on the decisions that I did at that time. The decisions of the course that I decided on, I literally just did it because some lady came through Uncle KPMG. The decisions that I did when I was in varsity, there was nobody to say, you know, to help me rationalize certain actions or certain things, whether or not they were right or wrong, whether or not, you know, because at some point I was doing too many things in varsity specifically, that they hindered even my academical progress, because I was trying too hard. Or, like I was telling you guys, I was in radio, I was in leadership in BMF, I was in leadership at Res, some of them at the same time. You know, Kamo, you're still at school, and you need to become accounting student who's on her way to becoming a chartered accountant, you know, and you've got the typical challenges of being a young person. So guys, you know, juggernauts on Thursdays, But like, I didn't have that. And this is literally why things like Young A's came about at that point in time, to be able to be that point of day. Obviously, my life is one path. There's so many other people that have had their own experiences that would then help tell their stories to help you guys not make the mistakes that we might have made. And that was what it was about at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Now that you have these people coming to you and saying, Ria, you spoke once and I heard you and I decided to prioritize, this about myself and I took action and all of this. Do you think you've gotten to a point where you have a specific message for young people in general?
Yes and no. I say yes and no because myself, I'm constantly evolving.
Okay.
I myself am getting new information, every day through reading, through learning, through meeting other people. And you find that sometimes you find that you know what you know. And obviously when you're speaking, you're guided by, so for me, I'm a Christian. I feel that as I speak, I'm guided by God, right? To say the stuff that I'm saying. But maybe that's why it has that element of impact to people. That's what I assume. That's what I believe. And also the fact that I'm not speaking to try to get affluence. I'm literally just speaking because I'm very much concerned about people's livelihoods, human development, etc. But for me personally, to say that I have a specific message, yes, I think I do, because it's a message that I've had over the years, like stick to your purpose or find your purpose. That would be my core. But then obviously there'd be those additional elements that would have evolved or changed over time to say, in finding your purpose, make sure that your purpose is aligned to what's happening with, let's say, the economy. So I don't want you to feel that maybe your purpose is singing, right? And then you just stick to singing lolo lolo, whereas there is sound engineering, which links to technology, which links to what the world needs now. Do you get what I'm saying? So over the years, or because of maybe you could say new information, you try to help steer people to, okay, we must sing, or Reabetswe said we must follow our talent. Okay, in following your talent, how do you link your talent so that it can make economical benefits for you and your family? What is happening outside? Do you get what I'm saying? So there's an element of following your passions, but then what? Because at the end of the day, we need to eat. We need to have bread. You can't just the battle that you had, or let's say, let me talk about Stace, that he had when he decided in that hall that he wants to then study film, for example. How do you explain to a black parent who thought that my child is going to be an engineer, or my child is, other engineer or architect or accountant or doctor? Now they're going to come to me, talk to me about creative industry. So because of Reabetswe said, follow your passion, and passion somehow isn't, I don't know, it's not accounting or whatever the case is.
No.
So I think.
Sure. Yes? You were saying?
I think, in the following passion, there's the element of heart and logic that needs to combine. So my message, as I say, has continued to evolve, and I always make sure that it's just relevant and succinct for the people that are listening.
Sure. I think I'm one of those learners who I had to suck it up, right? For 6+ years while I was studying at UP, to just get that degree.
Yes.
And finish up.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yes. But I think you speaking to me, it helped me to, the things that I was constantly putting my feet in and all of my hands and feet in, actually have enhanced, my profile yakua UP. My academic record says hello, ma'am.
Oh, well.
But other things, we are okay.
Yeah.
We need to wrap up this before Richard sleep. I have 2 more questions that I think would assist us to wrap up the session that we've had. But also, let me say before we wrap up that I want to congratulate you, man, for the nomination in the
thank you.
Millionaire Awards. I forgot to do that in our intro because the network was not being friendly at the beginning. But yes, congratulations. And my hope is that you secure it because you deserve it, man. You know, entrepreneurship is not just about that.
It's up to the touring the public.
Yeah?
Touring the public.
Entrepreneurship is not just about the numbers that, you know, you produce in your business, but it's also about the impact that you have on people's lives. And if they say that you need to bring a product, a tangible product of your work, I think you can just carry me with my head to the presentation.
Okay, so we go there and you are the portfolio of evidence.
Exactly. So yeah.
POE guys.
As a speaker, for somebody who is a speaker, always gets, the compliment that you're a great speaker. By the way, you have such a beautiful mind. You're thinking, I'm in love with it.
Thank you.
As a speaker, somebody who's good at speaking, obviously people now fall for the safest thing to do with speaking would be emceeing or, I don't know what else you would do that I've seen, but here you are, you've converted yours into an actual business, I know other people do voiceover as well. Once you recognize that speaking talent in you or that speaking ability, how do you suggest, with your experience, a person can enhance their speaking on a daily, like to stretch that muscle or to improve on that skill?
Look, I think it's got to do with the practice element, man, and putting yourself in those platforms. So I wasn't invited to places. I needed to put myself in places, certain spaces. So let me give an example at the schools.
Yeah.
The schools wouldn't know who Reabetswe was, right? So you'd have to call them and say, hi, Kina Reabetswe, wara, wara, wara. If they didn't trust you, I mean, how many rejections have I had? Come on, guys. Even today, how many rejections do we get? But I no longer put myself in spaces where I say hi. You must just talk to the speaker agent people and book. But I think, no, guys, don't talk to me. Talk to my what? I think in that space, it's always got to do with exploring also, because for you to then figure out this is the kind of speaking I want to do, you need to try them, right? So you need to try your voiceover to see if your voice fits that profile or if they will appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
You need to try the radios. You need to, so exploring just in life in general, I must say the importance of exploring. Discover yourself as a human being, figure. I think if you guys see that particular painting right there that I have on the side, and I've posted a video before on my Facebook about it. I didn't know that I could paint until I think I was maybe 16 or something, and that was during the school holidays, and I was supposed to go to hockey camp or something, and I didn't go, and I was bored, and I started drawing to discover, because you might find that there's certain talents that you have that even if you don't monetize it, but like painting and drawing for me helps with when I'm stressed. It's a therapy, but also if I decided I want to sell, right? But I'm just saying that as a human being, what's important to discover, find out, stretch yourself. Let's say like you've defined within the speaking space, there's different types of speaking. There's hosting, try emceeing, try facilitating, try moderating, so that you can see whether your personality or your range or your knowledge fits that profile. Because some people, if you're going to tell them to talk or bring a speech about tech or whatever, it's going to be hectic for them, because speaking requires research. As I said to you, it's literally about reading white papers, green papers, whatever that's on the net or whatever that you've read here, whatever that you've read there, and then creating a whole PowerPoint slide. Some people, that's the thing. It depends on how professional you feel you are. I've seen some shabby people who call themselves speakers. They don't even get there prepared.
Oh.
And it's a disgrace to the speaking industry, just must say. They get there, they call themselves speakers just because, as I said, it's either A, they've got around English and they assume, and you find the content is lacking. And people are gathered there. They've either paid tickets or the client has paid, but what you're talking about is null and void. You're just there to either look fancy in a suit or there to look fancy in your weave, but what you're saying doesn't add value.
At all. Ria,
Exactly.
I have a last question, but just as a follow-up question. Only speaking industry. So we have a speakers industry in South Africa or even in Africa.
Well, South Africa. The world, young thing, yeah, there's a speaking industry where people are professional speak, like that's their job. You call
Sure.
so and so, all they do is speak.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll have other businesses, but literally there's a speaking industry
Where they monetize this.
This color is quite scarce.
Are we
I found this out. I found this out when I just started, because I think for me, I decided to take the whole speaking thing quite serious late last year.
Oh, okay.
And when I dived into it, I found we are found shaking. We are lacking. So I was like, but who are these people that I thought were speakers? You know, like in my head. So there's levels just as much as there's degrees of comparisons or whatever, but there's levels of the people I thought were speakers. Maybe they are according to a certain context. But if we're talking about certain platforms, there's a certain type of person or certain type of people that will always be invited to certain spaces, and they will invoice a certain price. And that's why I call it a speaking industry, but that's what it actually is. There's an industry where it's speakers.
Okay, which is formal.
Pardon?
Which is
formal. Some of them actually go through courses, like it's an actual formalized industry. They will go through courses. There's also like organizations, if I can call them as such, where they meet up and they constantly teach each other. I wouldn't call it like Toastmasters or whatever, but it's like, it's organizations where professional speakers are at. They call themselves professional speakers, and they will have discussions of, how's business been on your side? How do you improve? How do whatever? Your slide decks. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these are people that literally they create productions out of their speaking. So you invite them, the slides are moving, there's video, it's like a production, and they take it so serious, and that's why you find their pricing is what their pricing is, because they even have teams that they work with. Even though Reabetswe only one was staging, but she has a team of people that help build that particular speech or that particular thing. So that's where I'd like to be in the next 5 years.
Come on, you know what? Whoever is listening, whoever's going to listen to this, there's no way you will say you don't know what your talent is in. Guys, please, I can't plug you more than this. Ria, let's close because we've already went over our time, our set time. I want us to close with, and this is where, you will tie it up for us. Where you spoke about the reflection, having reflective moments. And just from listening to the conversation that we've had with you just tonight, I think it's very beneficial if we could ask you this question of, in your first, say in the your teenage years, and even in your 20s, what are the key lessons that you picked that you feel are necessary for us who are coming after you to learn as well, or to perhaps live with the reality of them? I don't know if I make sense.
You're making sense. You're just dropping a bomb, It's a really tough question, darling. But look, I think in my teenage years, so I'll use myself as a point of reference. So when I look at myself, in hindsight, when I look at myself, I was very stiff and rigid. So I wasn't open to exploration, for example. So in as much as to another person, when they look at my profile or CV, it will show, like, let's say Yako high school fella. Like if I was to give you, my profile that I used to apply to varsity, it shows this netball, this top 10, all those things, accomplishments, right? Versus, yeah, I'll email it. They actually do have like a that I used. It's quite long, but anyway. So those are, the difference between accomplishments, and those were goals that I had at that time, to say I wanted this, I want this, I want this, I want that. But versus like the actual experience of being a teenager, I think I kind of sort of deprived myself of it. Even though that's important, like the balancing element. So I do believe that as a human being, you need to be balanced. You can't just be only about academics. You can't just only be about sports and church, which that's what was me. I was culture, hockey, academics, church. That's who Reabetswe was. Socially, yes and no. I wasn't that, like, obviously I had friends. Come on. Like, how can this person not have friends? But
Sure.
I was very, I think when I look back, I was very, maybe I can use the word judgy. So there's certain people that I didn't associate with because of they were party animals or the case. However, in the growing up of Reabetswe, you realize that we're humans. We're having a human experience. And in that, there's certain things that I've learned. I have some of those friends, like those ones that were the party people, they are my friends like now. And there's valuable lessons that I've learned from them. Like we're able to exchange, instead of just sticking to what I would call my group of nerds or whatever you call us. There's that exchange of wisdom and experience and knowledge. And so let's say as a teenager, or learn to obviously have your set goals, right? And make sure that your profile is good, because it helps you get to certain places and spaces. So that's quite important. But in the social part of you, learn to be an all-rounded individual, and learn to not be segmented in your mind to say, I don't hang around these people. Yes, there will be obviously as a teenager people who will influence you, but you need to have a firm back, like, come on. But that's quite important, not to be too rigid. Be open-minded. And being open-minded doesn't mean that you're swayed, that you're easily swayed. You just are able to empathize with people and understand their perspective. Just to be able to see that, okay, there's actually a different perspective apart from my own. And then in university, I think it would almost be a similar thing of the balance, where you're not just about academics. I know there's some of those people who would go into university, maybe they come in with those high marks and they told themselves, nah, holding team. Great, you can do that. But you can also do that while still socializing. What I've learned within the university context is that that's actually networking. So at that level, you're now networking because you might just be with, you might just befriend or acquaint your future business partner. You might just befriend somebody who would plug you in a certain industry, space, platform, whatever. So in that mind frame, similar thing, but different structure, I guess, is not to be rigid, and learn to be and be strategic in your socialization. Don't just be willy-nilly socializing. But then also, when you're being strategic, you're not being strategic to use people, or you're just being like, okay, I attend whatever social events there are. So the different societies that you have at universities, attend and explore. Same thing, explore. See what fits you. See what fits your vision and where you want to go, and build on that. And with the people that you meet up with, let it not just be about jawling and having a good time, but also let it not just only be about serious things. I want to accomplish this. Like, have a human experience. Like, just breathe and live, and still maintain having the goal part. So goal part.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've even written some of them down, because hint hint, I still need I think I still need to explore more than I think.
You have my email. That's the only way we can help you. because personal, just working personal mastery. So this is what I learned at business school, and I think this is something that's very important. So in as much as it's important for you to talk about business, how you see yourself impact you in your business, right? How you see yourself impact how productive you are in your workplace. So understanding this self, this person, this package that Bonolo is quite important. So that's why book a consultation and figure out, let's master you, the person, So personal mastery is quite important. As I said, I think this is something that when I came across at business school, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the key things, because you learn just how the mind works. You learn why you behave a certain way. You learn why, it's because of something that happened in my childhood that I actually act or react like this to this. So it's not psychology, but it has those elements, and I'm learning, and it's something that I really want to be an expert is. I'm kind of getting there, but over time, it's something that I'd like to, because this is something that I feel humans need to gain knowledge on. So, yes.
Sure. Yes, Reabetswe. I think with, your kind of answers, your approach to the answers, you know what, you are a personal mastery expert, in my opinion, at least, because your experiences are not, you're not telling us of a rehearsed life. You're not trying to be correct, and it actually helps for that one person who bumps into this video one day and they say, actually, I can be a speaker, and what I like even better about this is that Facebook has offered us this, just we are just offered the platform to just create. Can you we
and
just
that's what we should be doing as humans, creating, guys. We are a creation. It's literally like how Facebook meta, how you meta.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No, I can't deal, actually. No. Oh my gosh, but this is just me saying this has been a wonderful time that I've spent together with you here. And I wish you the best in your better, but I think they say endeavors or endeavors, mara something to do with your future prospects, aspirations. And yes, man, I'm rooting for you, and also just looking up to you, because you have such a beautiful mind. Your profile doesn't only speak of just labels. Those labels, those tags are actually work behind them, and I have no more words but to say to you thank you. And yes, I love you, man. All the best.
Thank you for the invite, man. Thank you to the listeners and the watchers. Thank you for just sending out that area. It's very much appreciated, because obviously now I'm able to tap into your audience. And I think the same message goes to you, to say that as a young Black woman scientist, pushing through in creative spaces, pushing through as a human being, just living, being yourself. And while you're living, being yourself, you're able to impact and impact these different people. That on its own is a great gift from God. And I pray that you continue to discover yourself, you continue to move in those spaces. And as you do, may you refine that vision. May it be more refined, may it be more understood. And may you implement some of the things that you've been staggering on doing. I may not know what they are, but you might find that there's things that you've been kind of staggering on, whether for whatever reason. So I pray that that would be something that you think about and let's implement. I think implementation is the word for me for the remaining of the year and next year.
Thank you so much, Rhea. This was your best.
Bye.
Good night.